Hello. Hey guys. Hodor. That's the first and last time I'm saying it, so you better love it. Okay, how do we do this? Do you want to ask me questions? Is that the best way?
Yeah, I have a few questions, or you can just point at anyone you like and I will run over there.
Don't like anybody.
Anyone raising their hand?
Let's start with you and then we'll take it into the crowd.
Yeah, we're gonna start soft, and I know you're not only an actor, you're a DJ as well, and you play with like sisters and other experienced artists. What do you prefer, DJ or actor?
That's a really tough question, actually. I think it depends. It depends on the job, it depends on the acting job, it depends on where I'm DJing. But I really like them both. I couldn't choose. Luckily, I don't have to choose. I can do both. But yeah, DJing comes more naturally. Music has always been a big part of my life. So yeah, it's hard to say, but I'm going to say both. Actually, because it's a bit of a cop out. So. So, any questions? Let's get your hands up. Ask me some ridiculous questions.
I'm going to start with a question here.
Yeah.
Did you ever think that you would get so famous by saying just one line?
No. That's... When I first heard about the character Hodor, really, I was like, what? I didn't understand. I didn't think it was going to be so popular. Then I met with the show's producers, David and Dan, and they were like, he's going to be one of the most popular characters in the show. And I was like, really? Why? And I still can't believe it, actually. It still shocks me. But, you know, I'm really grateful for it. It's really cool. I never thought I would get to go to all these cool places like Sweden, America, Australia, all from one word. Yeah, it's pretty good. So no, I didn't expect it at all.
Yeah, that one word, Hodor.
Yeah.
Who came up with it? Does it mean anything, or is it just a nonsense word?
I mean, nonsense word. It's not a fucking nonsense word. It's a very important word. And I'm pretty sure George Martin came up with it. No one really knows what it means. It's not, I don't know if you've read the books, but it's not really his name. His name's actually Walder. So, no one knows why he says Hodor. I don't know why. I've asked George, he won't tell me. Because I would tell you guys, and that's probably a bad idea. I think it's going to be some important reason. I think there's some sort of significance tied to it, but that's just my theory. That's not official. So yeah, George came up with the word. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a question over here.
Yeah.
In what season will we see Hodor taking over the 7 kingdoms?
I'm ready, man. Yeah, I think he needs to learn a few more words. Maybe 3 words. But at the minute, I don't think he's ready. He needs to do some vocab coaching. Then he's ready. I think he'd be a good king. Better than Joffrey. Seriously. Any more questions?
Yeah, I know that your mother is a big fan of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
How did she react when you got the part?
Well, when I got the audition, and I remember coming home and I said to my mother, I've just done an audition for this part, and his name's Hodor. And my mum sort of looked up. She was like, "What's that from?" I said, it's something called Game of Thrones, and she completely freaked out. She was like, she'd read all the books like 10 years before, and that's how I haven't actually read the books. We talk about it at dinner. You know, she spoiled the entire book series for me. And so she loves fantasy, and she loves people getting murdered and stuff like that. She's a bit dark. That's why I'm a bit dark. But yeah, she was really chuffed. She loves the show and she loves the books.
You said that your mother watched the show, like, how did you feel, you know, that scene in the first season you come out completely naked out of the...
Well, she's seen it all before, man. You know, apart from the extra bit. You know, she's seen me in positions that, you know, No, not that way. Okay, keep that off YouTube. Bloody hell. Oh, Jesus Christ. When I was a baby, it still was a bit weird. It's actually more weird walking in and like, there's a brothel scene on, and my mum was sitting there watching it, and she's just watching, and I'm going, Mum, why are you watching this? Stop it. But it's quite embarrassing actually. But okay, moving swiftly on.
Did you get the opportunity to like sneak anything off the set before this season ended?
Not yet. I will though. I probably shouldn't say that. It's a bad idea to give away your plans if you're going to steal something. The only thing I ever got was in season 2. This is really random. In season 2, I was feeding Rickon some nuts, and I stole the nuts. I stole literally a bag of hazelnuts. So I don't think I'm going to go to prison for that. You know. But I have my eye on a few things. There's a few things I wanted. I don't need a penis extension. No, there were 2 prosthetics made, 2 prosthetic penises. There was one that had my sort of hair colour, and there was one with like these mad afro pubes. And I was like, who is that for? That's not for me. And the first time I actually met my prosthetic, it was attached to Richard Madden, who played Rob Stark, and he had it on. I was running around the car park. And it was horrible. So I don't actually own my prosthetic. It's not in my house. Anyway, I use it as a draft excluder.
We've got a question over here.
Yeah, hello.
What other character would you like to have played?
What other character? In Game of Thrones or anything?
Game of Thrones.
Someone who says lots of things. I mean, there's so many characters I love. I can change this in every convention, and I mean it every time. Like, the characters I love are Varys. I really like Varys. I really love Brienne. I really love the Queen of Thorns, Olenna Stark, or not Olenna Stark, Olenna, whatever her name is. Who knows the names, really? Diana Rigg, whoever she plays. Yeah, I mean, I think probably Brienne. Obviously, I'm a man, but I've done stuff like that before, so I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'll go with Brienne. I think she's an amazing character. And that's also who I would pick for the throne. If I had a choice, I think she'd be an amazing queen. So there.
You ever thought of doing a remix tune with the Game of Thrones?
No. I mean, I've heard it done. There's been some bloody awful versions of it. Yeah, and you know, I think it's an amazing piece of music, and if you can't make it better, I don't think there's any point in doing it. I've heard a dubstep version of it. Like, what is that? A dubstep version? I tried to do it. I did a bootleg actually. I played it once in Canada, and it sounded awful, so I put it away again. Yeah, not playing it again. Ever. Green person. Oh, Jesus.
Twi'lek.
I know what a Twi'lek is.
If you could play any character at all in any movie, what would it be?
Wonder Woman. I'm not joking. I am completely in love with the character of Wonder Woman. And I can't wait for the movie to come out. Like, it'll be a very different version of Wonder Woman. Like, thank you. Like, I might have to shave a bit, you know. Definitely have to get rid of the beard. Or maybe not. You know, it's very modern times. Yeah. I also would have liked to play Thor. You know. And what do you mean? What are you thinking about? I would make a great Thor. Yeah, that's one thing, you know, I never like to criticize casting in movies, but I'm a huge Thor nut. I've been a Thor fan since I was like this height. And the guy who plays Volstagg in the Thor movies, Volstagg is supposed to be like massive. He's supposed to be like a mountain, and I always thought I would be good for that role. He's tiny. It's like, what the fuck? Are the children here? No swearing. Sorry.
You can be Hodor.
Really? Hodor? I'm not even going to dignify that, man. Well done, though.
Is it true that because of the tattoos on your forehead,
Yeah.
the makeup department decided to give Hodor the scar?
Yeah, I mean, they're easily covered, but I remember during the makeup testing, we just thought, why not do something fun? So we gave him a scar, and that gave me a bit of a backstory as well. You know, I sort of imagined that he'd been kicked in the head by a horse or something. That's why he couldn't talk. You know, that's just my backstory. A bit crazy. Question.
In the series so far, what is your favorite scene? Your defining Hodor moment?
That's interesting. Defining Hodor moment. There's two different Hodors for me. There's Hodor who's warged by Bran, and there's Hodor who's just normal Hodor. I think Hodor showing his true personality was when Maester Lewin is dying in season 2, and he sort of takes the boys off, and he sort of takes them off into the distance. It's a really nice scene where he dies, and he obviously wants to take care of them and stuff. It's really nice. But my favourite scene has been the one where he hoisted the guy up and broke his neck. That was completely my favourite scene. Also because when Bran does the warging thing, as an actor, it's amazing to be able to play two completely different characters inside a second in the scene. Just completely flip a switch. It's a lot of fun as an actor. You know, yeah, I really like doing that. I would like to do more warging in the future. I'm sure we will. I see a hand.
Regarding acting, I will stick with the question. I will come back to it. Hodor only says one word, as we know.
Yes.
But how do you prepare yourself for a scene with only one word, with different personalities, different feelings, but still just one word?
I mean, the only way to play Hodor is to be real. You can't really act. There's no lines to learn. You can't sort of fake it. You have to go into the scene and really be Hodor. I mean, like, I literally turned my brain off, you know, in certain ways, leave it on in certain ways. But yeah, I basically take myself into a different situation, and sometimes after the scene, I have to snap myself out of it. I feel like Hodor, wherever that feels like. But it's the only way. It would be very easy to overact as Hodor. You know, sort of doing like pantomime type performance, and that wouldn't go down very well. HBO would not like that. So.
We'll see, we had a question over here.
Did you have to work out a lot, because you do some heavy lifting, at least in the first season?
I mean, I hate the gym. I think it's a waste of time. But yeah, I mean, like 6 months before we do the season, I have to sort of get myself loosened up, because it is really hard work. It's intensely hard work, actually. And he's getting so big now. Isaac's like this height, and he's really heavy. So I told his mum to stop feeding him, but she continued, I'm afraid to say. So, any other questions?
Is it true you and Bran are actually good friends in real life?
No, I hate him. No, we're very good friends. I actually think of him like a little brother. He's an amazing kid. I don't know if anyone's ever met Isaac here, have you? No? He doesn't do many conventions. He's hyper intelligent. He wants to be like a brain surgeon or a quantum physicist or something like that. He doesn't really want to be an actor. He's going to be better than that, you know. He's a really cool kid, but he's at the age now that he challenges everything you say. That's it. And the thing is, he's probably smarter than most adults, which is really annoying. So he's a really cool kid, though. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll Small question from the floor.
Will you be in season 5?
No, we are not in season 5. I'm not allowed to say that, apparently. Yeah, which is a shame, but if you know anything about the books, there's kind of a book that we're not in, and it kind of goes along with what happens, so unfortunately I have a year off. Which is cool because I've had a lot of time to do other stuff, so it's been great. A lot of traveling.
Yeah, I actually saw on your website that you're a World of Warcraft player and that you wanted people to hang with you in the game.
Sometimes.
Do you still find the time for playing computer games?
Yeah, I still play. I mean, I've just got the new expansion for Warcraft. If anyone play Warcraft here, there's bound to be somebody. One person. It's so dark here in the winter. I thought you would all play Warcraft. Seriously, I'm so disappointed. Anyway, yeah, so it's important to have some sort of outlet for something you enjoy when you're traveling so much. And I bring it with me on a laptop, and I played it since the week it started. I'm a huge Warcraft fan. I actually did a voice in the expansion. I don't know if you know that. I did a voice for a character called Executioner Gore in the new Black Fathom Deeps. And yeah, so there you go. I do still play.
You were saying earlier that you're not doing the season 5. You signed up for the other seasons coming.
I can't say. They can't just leave us underneath the tree. You know, logic will tell you that we're coming back, but I can't confirm or deny that we're coming back. But use your imagination. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Got a question from a guy in the back.
Are there any scenes that you've done that they've cut out that you're disappointed over that they actually removed?
Actually, no. No, there's been no scenes that have been cut. I think Game of Thrones, since season 1, has been such a polished show. They really know what they're doing, and it costs so much to produce that they don't really waste time doing scenes that they're not going to use. So all of our scenes have been used. I'm just trying to think. I don't really know any scenes of anybody who hasn't been used, really. So there's never going to be like a reel of off or extra bits, so I can't imagine that happening. But yeah, they know what they're doing.
I got a question from Darth Maul over here.
I just wanted to ask what it feels like being probably the most famous person from Northern Ireland.
Where are you from? But sorry, that's not very funny, but it's funny. I don't know why it's funny to me. I don't know if I am the most famous person from Northern Ireland. Who else is there? Liam Neeson. I'm not as famous as Liam Neeson.
Okay, I'll give you Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson. Yeah, okay. Anyway, you look amazing, by the way. Round of applause for Darth Maul. That's very nice.
Yeah. And we start to round up, so if we have any further questions, please.
She's wearing a Lannister t-shirt, don't take her question.
When the show ends, where do you want to see Hodor?
Well, it depends on on my sort of theory of who I believe Hodor is. Because I think he is somebody. I don't think he's just a random mute. I think he's there for a reason. I promise you, I do not know what it is, because George won't tell me. He won't tell me anything, and I really have tried. I think, please, George, tell me what happens. No, not a mission. But I think there's some hidden destiny there for Hodor, and you know, that will affect what happens at the end. I know there was a theory that the whole thing has happened inside Hodor's head. That's just like a dream. I would like that. He sort of wakes up and goes, "Oh, what was that?" So yeah.
funniest moment on set so far?
I mean, the scene with the prosthetic was not only funny, in fact, it wasn't funny at the time. In fact, I was devastated, but I literally was in a bush with like this horrible thong on with a penis strapped on the front of it, and it was horrible. It was raining, and the power kept cutting out on set, so every time I came out of the bush, I had to start all over again, and I would come out, and it was just the worst day of my life. Also, a funny thing is, in the books, Hodor keeps hitting Bran's head on the walls of Winterfell, which never happens in the show, but off camera, I usually would hit his head on things, so that sort of happened off camera though. And I always fall over things, and yeah, it's funny.
Do we have any final questions? Yeah, one final question over here.
Did you like to, or do you, before Game of Thrones, watch science fiction in a way again?
I mean, I used to come to these shows as one of you guys before Game of Thrones happened. I collect comics and stuff as well, and you know, it's so weird being on the other side of the rope. It's pretty cool actually. It's nice that you get paid, so I'm happy to stay here. But yeah, I used to do this, so I know what it's like for you guys. Yeah, it's awesome. I never thought it would happen, to be honest. I just want to say thank you before I finish, because you know, I've been to Sweden once before, and this is literally my favourite place to come so far, and all the places I've been. Seriously, because you guys don't know how cool you are, and that's a good thing. You know, you're sort of understated cool, which is really, really amazing. So, thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kristian. So, ladies and gentlemen, a big applause for Kristian Nairn.